much, Nitai, in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you here. So that was the mantra Om Hare Om. Thank you. So there's a few different mantras. So we were just talking about that before we went on air. So there's the Nitai Go Hari Bol.
Nitai Go Hari Bol.
Right.
And then Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana.
Yes. What do those words mean?
The words are qualities of the Supreme or the Divine, the source of love, happiness, joy, and life itself.
Mm.
So by engaging in this process of mantra meditation, the word mantra itself means mana means mind and tra means to draw away. So by engaging in mantra, we are drawing our mind away from that which is sort of what we're facing every day, the desires and the emotions and the feelings. So we're drawing our mind away from them with the mantra. So it helps to bring about a sense of peace and calm in our hearts.
So that's a nice way to start the day, I suppose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when we sleep, our mind just basically, it's like a computer. It replays what's happened, thoughts, desires, all these things go through our mind as we sleep. And usually we find we wake up, we have a certain mindset because of that thought or dream or that emotion that we woke up with.
True.
So to start the day afresh, it's a very nice practice to actually start with something that you then focus your mind and you bring it into some sense of your own control. So you're not controlled by the emotions or the thoughts or the feelings. So by developing a daily practice, we can actually start the day every day with almost like a fresh slate. We're not carrying over that baggage from the day before, or the stresses or the emotions or anything else like that. So
sounds so good that we've got another chance. Every day we've got another chance. Forget about yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
And it's a very soothing and calming thing to do.
And so what are some other practices that are good in the morning? I know you and I were talking about sort of lemon water's a good thing. We know that cleans the liver and just sort of prepares the body for the day.
Yeah. There's a part of mantra is part of a Vedic system, which is also gives instructions on how to maintain the body. So depending on the nature of each particular person has a particular type of body. So there's Pitta, Vata and Kapha, which are sort of fast, a medium and then a slow. So depending on your type of body, you should have certain things in the morning as your daily practice. But I say everyone should get up and at least have a glass of water to start the day to set your digestive system, which has been sitting all night, into a cleansing mode. So I usually have my either warm lemon water, honey, lemon and ginger, tea, something, and then sit down and engage in a cleansing mantra practice with a little breathing every morning. So.
Yeah. Now, so you're from, the Australian School of Meditation and Yoga. You're from there. I mean that sort of saying that you sort of help out with meditation and the Kirtan program. It's a great school, a fantastic school. Would you say it's run by Gopala? Does she run it, or does she run it with someone else?
She runs it with the help of a few volunteers. Yeah.
It's a fantastic school.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of classes, meditation classes, yoga classes. There's the Kari and Kirtan, on Friday nights once a month. It's a beautiful, peaceful space. It's like you walk into a different world when you go there.
It is. It's really, really nice. It's calm. You can feel almost like a wave of calm wash over you when you walk in.
Yeah. And you always see Gopala smiling. She's that sort of person. She's very happy soul.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Makes you feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's largely due to the mantra meditation.
Yeah.
You actually become a calm, happy soul, and you're not so affected by emotions, desires, stresses, thoughts, feelings. You can overcome those. And so yeah, you walk into the space and you can feel it. There's no anxiety, there's no stress, there's no outside influences. It's just a calm and happy place.
And aesthetically, it's pleasing to be in and look at. You know, the setting is sort of very clear on the eye. You know, it's not cluttered.
Yeah.
It's just peaceful. It's got some plants and a beautiful space for yoga. It's very spacious too. Do you do yoga classes there? You take some of Gopala's yoga classes?
No, I haven't been to Gopala's yoga classes. I usually do a Wednesday night with Nathan.
Okay, Nathan,
So,
yes.
yeah, Nathan does a nice class.
Yeah. And every teacher brings their own gifts, don't they?
They do.
Every teacher's good in their own way. They bring their personality to the poses,
To the class,
the class.
And their own style. And
Yeah.
So some people are a little bit more strong and some people a little bit slower. Some people have a different flow.
Yeah,
so
an easy pace.
easy pace.
That's right.
Some of them a bit stronger and a bit harder pace.
Yeah.
So
It's a real fitness workout, yoga. If you do the
it
advanced
is.
classes, if you get to that level,
yeah.
I don't think people need to go to the gym.
No, you don't. If you do a couple of yoga classes a week,
Yeah.
it's very, very strengthening, especially for your core.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And avoiding those injuries from doing weights at the gym and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, you overstress the body, and it's gonna give way sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's why people are more interested in the milder practices of keeping fit and healthy in body, mind and spirit, you know, yoga and meditation. Yoga especially, talking about the body, is that you can be so fit. You see a yoga body, you see people that do yoga every day.
Yeah, they're
It's
strong.
like the perfect human body, isn't it?
Yeah.
In men and women.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
Through
Healthy.
Through COVID lockdown, I was doing because everything had to go online. I was doing part of the video editing, video checking, and some of these people, like, there's a couple of ladies up the Gold Coast in their sort of late 50s, and I couldn't keep up. The yoga instructors, I couldn't keep up. It's just like, wow, these people are so strong.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
I
it's
think
an amazing thing.
Yeah, I think we were sort of led to believe in the 80s and 90s, you know, to be fit, it's, you know, pumping iron at the gym, but that's gone, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think that's long gone.
That's gone.
The concept of pumping iron as the only way to actually exercise.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do it more gently, more easy on the body, and achieve a very good result.
That's true.
Absolutely.
And so what do you do for evening routines, or what, you know, people you know and yourself, you know, some evening routines to unwind? I know a lot of people at night are still stimulated by their computers and devices and phones and iPads,
Yeah.
little kids, adults, elderly, you know, I
Everybody.
know lots of people,
Everyone,
not old, but in their 80s, literally on Facebook
Yeah.
at midnight, you know.
Yeah.
It's become the thing of the world.
It has, and you can see the difference in society. People have become more agitated, more angry, more anxiety, and also more unhappiness because of it. Because you're stimulating the senses, and the only thing that comes from stimulation of the senses is anxiety. So I try and ditch any sort of devices by about, I have an iPad that I read on. So anything after, say, dinner time, the only device I use is for reading. There's occasional work I do on a computer, but pretty much stay away from anything that's sort of stimulating or quick scroll, quick fix type sort of devices or apps. It actually agitates your mind. And an agitated mind is sort of contrary to happiness.
Yeah.
So, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, do you put your iPad on like a darker, you know, the brightness you can make it for evening watching? It's a different screen, like a blue screen, or just darker on the brightness setting?
Usually it goes to a black screen, but I can't do the black screen. I've got glasses, and I needed that little bit more light, so I leave it on white, but I turn the tone down a bit. So yeah, do that. We do the kirtan meditation with the guitar for a little while, and then also do meditation on mala beads, which is I do first thing in the morning when I get up and have my glass of water. I do that for probably 20 minutes, and then a little bit of breathing with that, and then evening before bed, also another 15-20 minutes of mala beads. So and then it's sort of right down, calm and mellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the beads, you touch one, just explain it for the listener. So you sort of
It's
rolling
a
one
practice
bead.
of, you use a string of beads and a mantra, and you roll the beads between your fingers and you say the mantra out loud. So you're engaging your sense of touch, you're engaging your hearing, and you're engaging your speaking, all in the same practice. So you're actually engaging more of the senses, and you're having more of a focused effect on the mind. So
that prepares you for sleep.
Yeah.
You have you know, it gives people good sleep.
Absolutely.
Because we really want to switch off those thoughts.
You do.
And the busyness of our mind.
Yeah.
And just that energy field within us. I mean, I've started turning the Wi-Fi off at night.
Yeah.
Someone told me about it. Turning the Wi-Fi off, and even my 4G, Bluetooth, anything on my phone, everything goes off. And I put my phone on the other side of the house on like a loud, so that if someone needed us in the middle of the night, we're still going to hear it. So I put on like a very loud ring.
Yeah. But it's not. Yeah.
But it's not near us.
Yeah.
And my husband and I actually sleep better.
Oh, wow.
Because I was waking up feeling a bit stiff. I would always have a bit of a, not always, but a little very mild headache. I'd sort of had to rub my neck for like 5 minutes to just come to. You know, I didn't feel brilliant in the mornings.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, but like it was just a mild, not so good feeling.
Discomfort.
Yeah. And honestly, within just even 2 days, and then on from that, I felt great. I didn't have any of those pains. And I said to my husband, is it psychosomatic? Is it in my head? How do you feel? And he said, I feel good too.
Yeah.
And he's usually, you know,
usually
the
positive one. Yeah,
he's a
I feel
skeptic.
fine
He's
anyway.
like, nah, it won't make a difference. But he really, when he said he felt better and different, I thought, oh, well, then it's true.
Yeah.
Because he sort of questions everything and likes to test it a few times. But he's like, wow,
this is
and
actually good.
He puts all his devices in the office.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I hadn't thought of that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have to give that a go. But it does make sense, though. It's electromagnetic radiation close to you when you're sleeping. And that, any sort of electromagnetic radiation is not good for you.
Yeah. I saw a video on it. Actually, anyone can Google it or go to YouTube if they're listening and are interested. You just sort of type it in and type in the effects of devices and etc. Just whatever words you want to type in, and you will see videos. You'll see it's all there. It's all there about like what you said as well. What we're saying tonight about the radiation, and it can affect people's body. It affects people's DNA. It really does. Have it sleeping with a phone right there by the bedside table.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
It does, absolutely. So
it's another good thing.
Another good tip for staying healthy.
Yeah. And before we get into another mantra, what are some foods, you know, in the practice of the lifestyle of meditation, kirtan, yoga, Ayurveda? I know there's so many different foods, so it's sort of hard to say in, you know, like a few minutes or 5 minutes, but what are some foods that are good for the body? People wanting to transition from sort of meat. I know you understand that you're all sort of vegetarian at the centre.
Yeah.
You people that run it, vegetarian or vegetarian? Vegetarian.
It's all about prana and life in the food. So anything that's processed, let's say you are what you eat. So anything that's processed is pretty much dead food. Meat, you put in the freezer to stop it from rotting, to keep it a little bit longer, but it's still doesn't have that life energy to it. So it's usually freshly cooked. Try to avoid things with comes out of a can or comes out. You can't really help things coming in a packet. Dry foods, dry goods.
Yeah.
Once again, there are those 3 different body types, and they all require a different type of food to actually nourish them properly. But usually soft and warm for breakfast. So you're having your porridges or you're having your dals, and then same again of an evening, but a smaller portion. So you want something that's easy to digest at night, so that your body actually doesn't have to work too hard, and your body can spend more time actually resting and recovering, because night's recovery time. So if you're having a big heavy meal before bed, that's going to actually slow down the healing process of your body, because the body has to work so hard to digest the meal, it doesn't have time to actually do what it's supposed to be doing, which is body recovery. So all your systems go into recovery mode when you sleep.
Right, that's good. That's a good one for us all to remember. Sleep is for healing.
Yeah, that's
We're not taught this stuff.
no. It's thought you go to sleep because that's what you do. There's a whole other understanding of why the body needs to sleep, because it's worn. It needs to recover. So all your linings of your organs change at night. Your skin heals. Everything sort of goes into like a healing overdrive during the night. And then in the daytime, your body then produces energy, and you wear the body down, and then you recover at night. So it's the whole idea of the sleeping process. So if you have something that's easy for the body to digest at the nighttime, it assists with the healing. So a smaller, traditionally in the Ayurvedic system, you don't eat after dark. So you eat while the sun is up, and then once again in the morning you eat when the sun comes up. That way your body develops that natural day and night rhythm, and you're actually working in tune with the body rather than force feeding it.
Yeah. So you mentioned, we just want to backtrack slightly, the warm foods, so like oats and dal.
Oats and dals and
what else?
rice.
Rice?
Is good. Yeah.
Well, not every day, just a couple of times a week.
Yeah, a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
You tend to go for a bigger, more variety of foods for a lunch.
Oh, okay.
So that way your body's in full action mode. So it requires that little bit of extra, and because you're still active and you're still working, you'll find the body actually is able to digest that a lot easier. So having the lunch as the biggest meal of the day, because your body's still in, as you wake up in the morning, it's still in sort of, I forget the name of it, but there are different times of the day that have different modes to them. So in the morning, you're in a more calm mode before the passion mode kicks in, and you actually start to get into work mode, and you go and go and go and go and go.
So we want to avoid a big brekkie.
We want to try and avoid a big brekkie because we're still in that sort of gentle rising mode, getting our systems preparing for the day. So if we have a slightly easier meal to start with, then as we go on through the day, we then have a bigger meal. And then once again, we wind down at night so that the body rests.
And that all makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of, even if you just Google Ayurvedic diet, you'll be able to actually get a bit more of an idea of the way the body works and the way that they look at the holistic approach to health.
That's right. It's such an interesting philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very in depth.
And specific.
Yeah.
Like with the what do you call the three? Is it three? The Vata, Pitta, Kapha. What's that?
The doshas. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so specific, isn't it?
It is. And then they treat everything in the body is looked at from a hot, cold sort of perspective. So if you've got an inflammation in your body, that's a source of heat. So if there's something going on with the liver, whether it's dry or it's hot or it's wet, and then they treat it with food or spices that counteract. So they make something wet if it's dry, they make something cool if it's hot. And that way the body heals itself through different temperature and different, it's kind of like, wow.
Yeah, right. And even the emotions are connected to all that, isn't it? Like the food, like, someone's angry or, got breaking out on their skin or something. It's all related to emotions and food and where we're at in our life.
Absolutely. And what we eat is a huge part of that. If we're putting things in our body that are too acidic, they have an agitating effect as well.
So we can feel stressed if we eat wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. The body doesn't feel comfortable, and it's like there's something wrong.
Or if we overeat as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That feeling when you've just
You've done too much. Yeah.
It's not a pleasant feeling.
No.
Well, I think, doesn't the Ayurveda principle, isn't it, fill yourself 70 or 80%, leave space in your
I think
in your
there is
stomach.
something
Don't
in
eat to
there.
100% full. Oh, I'm full. Oh, you know,
Yeah.
you're bloated, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, I overate.
Well, your
Leave
stomach
70%.
is about that big.
Yeah, it's as
Empty.
big as your fist.
Yeah. So if
Empty,
you,
yeah. Well, that's not a lot of food.
it's not a lot of food. But if you look at food on a plate, a lot of it has a lot of air in it.
Yeah, and water.
And water. So if you think about your bowl of oats in the morning, you have a small bowl of oats, it's not that much food. So.
Well, and also I've read that the human body to operate at the optimal level doesn't need a lot of food and fuel. You know, we can, I'm not saying starve ourselves and not eat much, but just everything in moderation, as that saying goes.
Absolutely.
Don't overdo it. It's like a car.
Yeah.
Put in the right fuel.
Put in exactly right.
Quality.
Put in the right. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Putting in the right fuel.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of misconceptions about diet and about what protein is, where you get protein from, how much you need, how much iron, nutrients. So if you have a sort of a balanced diet.
I think a lot of vegetarians and vegans hear that a lot. Where do you get your protein? Where do you get your iron? And it's the same answer all the time.
Yeah.
But what do the cows eat?
Yeah, exactly.
Grass.
What is
that's protein.
What is protein?
What is protein?
Yeah. Protein is a long strand amino acid, which is a byproduct of photosynthesis.
Yeah.
That's where protein is produced.
Yeah. And quinoa or quinoa, I don't know. There's so many different ways of saying it.
I think it's quinoa, yeah.
Quinoa. Right, quinoa apparently is the best.
One of the highest protein
better
sources.
Than meat.
Yeah.
It's the amino acid
broccoli
chain is better than meat.
Yeah.
So we've been taught things back to front.
We have.
I saw someone say that, another health expert, a girl who was a nutritionist. She studied medicine when she was younger. She's got a page on Instagram. She's very good. She's got a lot of followers. Like she knows what she's talking about. And she's wanted to be a doctor. She studied medicine. Then she said, okay, no, I've seen what I've seen for herself. She didn't want to do it, and that's fine.
Yep.
She wasn't saying it was bad, but she just said for herself it wasn't her thing. And she went into she became a naturopath and nutritionist and Ayurveda, all that sort of thing. She's a vegan.
Actually treat
eats
the body.
All fruit.
Yeah, treat the body nicely and it will respond.
You know, she said that's the way. And she said, you know, you can get your iron, you can get your protein. You just got to do your research. And that's right. That's why I mentioned her, because she said it posed a question to the audience saying, what if you were taught, what if what you were taught was all wrong and you had to be re-educated? That's the place she comes from.
Yeah.
So let's re-educate ourselves. Fruit's been demonized. The sun has been demonized. Don't go in the sun. Oh, but now we're told, you know,
you need some vitamin D.
With the COVID thing that was going on, they were saying that vitamin D is good, and zinc and something else, vitamin C, you know, just to help.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a cure, we're just saying to help
boost
us.
your immune system.
Yeah.
These are things that are naturally help the body fight disease.
So we have to go in the sun, but it has to be, when you look at your phone app, the UV has to be under 3. So 1 or 2 is safe to be in the sun. That's the vitamin D we need for everything to function. Yeah,
I was always told from my grandfather. My grandfather used to be a drover way back in the day. And his policy was between 12 and 3, find a tree. You shouldn't be in the sun between 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock.
12 and 3,
find a tree. Just get out of the sun. And even then, early morning's good, late afternoon is good, because there's a further distance and you've got a lot more atmosphere between yourself and the sun. Therefore, the UV is a lot less. You're still getting your vitamin D.
Exactly.
Not getting cooked.
It's all logical, isn't it?
It is. A lot of things are logical if you actually have a logical way of looking at it. Yeah.
And the fruit. I've had a few guests on who have spoken about fruit and the benefits of fruit, and the transition time in the digestive tract is quick. You know, from the time the fruit goes into our mouth to, you know, passing through or doing its job is like 3 hours. It's the sort of fastest digested food is fruit, and it's high in water, high in nutrients, high in healing properties. So if people are sick and not feeling energetic, not feeling well, fruit is medicine. But we're not saying have 10 pieces of fruit a day, but
food is medicine.
2 and 3 pieces of fruit a day. But we're told fruit's bad, it's sugar.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's most of it's
It
water.
comes off a tree.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
the
that's
sugar
just the
and
most
Coke
most natural thing that there is. It's grown on a tree.
Mm.
As long as they don't spray it with chemicals and
Yeah.
fertilise it with chemicals, and then
And what did you
So-
say before? Food is medicine.
food is medicine.
Yeah.
Food can either make you very healthy or it can make you very sick.
Mm.
So you are what you eat.
That's
so.
right.
And then
That's
on the same token, from a meditation point of view, you are what you do. So if you engage in certain activities, they will have a certain effect on your consciousness, your mind, and the way you act and behave. And if you engage in other activities, the same thing. So if you are engaged in activities that hopefully agitate or stimulate, you will end up with a frustrated, angry person.
Mm.
And that's never a condition of happiness. So if we can engage in things that help us stay calm, help us control our emotions and our desires, then these will lead to a much happier, calmer state of existence.
Mm.
So it's all about
You are what
choices.
you eat, you are what you do, and 12 to 3, find a tree.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's good. All right, we've come to the end of the program. Have we got a little 1 minute something we can go up with?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do a Haribol and
Thank
a
you.
Kagol.
Nitai joined us this evening, if you just tuned in. Thank you, Nitai, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.